So when I was a general manager of customer satisfaction at Commonwealth Bank, we went through the process of trying to become the best bank in Australia. When I joined, they were the worst bank in Australia out of the major banks in terms of customer service. And now they've been the best bank in Australia for 6 years in a row for customer service, which is an incredible achievement. And one of the amazing things that drove us to #1 in terms of customer service was TOFU. Now, it's not the rubbery food that you're all thinking about. It was the #1 customer service discipline. And the acronym was TOFU, which was taking ownership and following up. The TO and the FU. I'd like to separate out the TO and the FU. And first of all, the FU is not the FU you'll see in most organizations when delivering service. It's a different kind of FU. The TO, first of all, is taking ownership. And this is your willingness to not ping pong the customer around the organization. Most organizations, when you have a complaint or a customer service issue and you explain it to them, they'll pass you off to someone else. Oh, I can't help you. I have to pass you off to Jonathan of Finance. He'll sort it out for you. Now, I know Jonathan of Finance is probably a very nice person, but you don't want to speak to Jonathan. You want the first person to hear your issue or your customer service request to solve that request. Now, when I joined Commonwealth Bank, I was like, really? TOFU, how much difference can that really make? But when every single employee is willing to take ownership of the customer request, solve it for the customer, find the answer for the customer rather than passing them off, it solves everything. Now, what about the follow-up? Well, the follow-up is, often, a customer has a request and we can't immediately solve it for them. We might have to go and speak to someone else. We might have to go and find the answer from our intranet. And so we'll follow up with the customer. We'll say, I can't answer it right now, but I'll call you back in 30 minutes with the answer. And that's the follow-up. You must follow up when you said you were going to follow up. And when you do, the customer's like, wow, because most organizations, when they say they follow up, you never hear from them again. So a service concept that I really love you to think about, probably the most important discipline that I can share with you, is your willingness to take ownership of the customer experience and follow up when you said you were going to follow up. Now, one more twist that I would like to share with you is that sometimes we are not the right person to answer the customer's request. Say they want a particular product or the service and you're not the expert, and you have to pass them off to someone else. Well, even then we can activate TOFU. And what that means in this case is doing the warm handover to someone who is the expert, then following up with that employee to make sure they have delivered what the customer has asked. Often if we pass a customer off to someone else because they're the expert, because they don't own that request, they may not follow up with them. So what we did all the time at Commonwealth Bank is when we pass someone off to someone else, we say, hey, Jonathan, did you follow up with that customer? Did you call them back? And when we did that, we made sure we always delivered on the customer's expectations.